All right, so the next bit with the chassis leveled and the ride height set, the mechanical ride height of the actual chassis, the bit that matters, we'll set the height of these tunnels, because the tunnels can be sort of anywhere. These are like the tie rods, left and right hand threaded, so by adjusting this and the flex in this part, I've got huge adjustment to set the height of the tunnels. So you don't want them all, you know, one's dragging on the ground and one's 100 mil off the ground. So basically we set them at 50, call it 50, but 52 mil at the front and 58 at the rear. And again, you can do this with a ruler, but doing a lot of cars, we've worked out that this is handy because I can pass this around under the car. So I can already see that's just a bit tight. So we just come up a touch, you know, right there. And then at the back, which is not so much this end flexible tip, it's more this point on the inside of this fence. So if I can slide that right under and I can feel that, that's bitten there, so a tiny bit up. Again, that's surprisingly close. But we've got just that little bit of clearance with the 58 at the back and just clearance with 52 at the front. The other side, you've obviously got to do this after you've set the heights of the chassis, otherwise you'll be backtracking. And so that's got quite a lot. So we wind this one down. So obviously really easy job to do. About there. And that's a bit tight, so we'll go in with this one. Yeah, about there. And about there. And then these two blocks can be used up the rear end. This is just a bit of a check reference because these are actually used when we build new cars for setting the heights of the tunnels when we mount the rear wing and we drill the rear wing to the tunnels. But out of interest, you should be seeing within reason something pretty close to these. So it's actually extremely close, and that one's a little bit low. You can also get a glimpse if you come right down with the camera. If you look at these gaps to the wishbone, that finger gap there, so I can see on that side, I think it's probably a little bit less than this side, which is sort of doubling, confirming that this one does want to go up a little bit. So sometimes I will just average all of these out. So if we just pull this up a tiny bit, that's now a lot more like the other side, maybe even a touch more. And as long as we recheck the side and we haven't gone too far on anything, which we haven't, I think that's probably got, you know, mil or two of clearance. So that's good. So that's how we set the heights of the tunnel. So now they're set up nice and level with a little bit of rake, slightly higher at the rear than they are at the front. Nice ground clearance. And then with them set, if you want to change the ride height of the car, which we don't really do, but we've tested and we found it hasn't made much of a difference, you're now going to change the ride height of the entire car using the suspension push rods, raise and lower the whole thing. You won't necessarily change those rods on the tunnels to lower the tunnels, because all that's going to sort of do is make the tunnels droop from the inside to the outside. If you're lowering there, you're better off lowering the whole car. So that is how the tunnels are set, true and level to the chassis. So again, with these 65 mil spaces under the back of the tunnel, and this tunnel being quite floppy and inaccurate, remember there's no rear wing on this car, and the rear wing gets connected. So this is more of a setup for us when we're drilling and mounting rear wings for the first time. If your car's already been set up, you'll have holes here already that will realign themselves, and that will help set the height of this. So don't worry that there's nothing sort of holding this at this point in time. That's additionally held by the rear wing. So with those set, we just run around and tighten these left and right threaded linkage rods. A bit at each end because you sort of can't hold them from spinning, so we just work around and do that. Done. Tunnel's now locked in, all at the correct height. So with the car leveled and the tunnels leveled and the tunnel struts done up, we have adjusted these push rods to set the level of the chassis and the ride height of the chassis. We leave them alone now because the final adjustments on those are going to be when we corner weight the car. There will be some differences in those at the moment. Once the car's on scales, we'll give those their fine-tune adjustments to truly level weight the four wheels. So for now, these get left alone. I think a good habit to get into is to leave these really obviously loose, because you don't want to spend the next half an hour doing the rest of the job and then forget to do those up. So typical rules of race cars, it's either tight or it's completely loose. So leave them loose. It's a bad habit to leave that like that. That will result in someone going out with loose bolts on their race car, so back them right off.